How's it going, everybody? If you're with for me, please like, comment, subscribe to the channel. So I have another movie review. Just recently watched Woman in the Yard. Sorry, Woman in the Yard. Um, and this directed. So this stars Danielle Deadweiler, um, who I remember from The Harder They Fall, which was like an all black Western movie. Really good movie, by the way. If you haven't seen it, it's a Netflix exclusive. Um, so so this has Daniel Detweiler, Danielle Danweiler, uh, Peyton Jackson, and Russell Hornsby. Who I remember Russell Hornsby from watching this show called Black Mafia Family. He played the dad in that, and he plays the dad in this too. So this is uh this is a horror film. Uh, it is a Blumhouse horror film. Uh, and this is directed by Jean Colette Serra. Now, when I first saw his name as the director, I was like, that name sounds familiar. Um, and I realized I actually reviewed a few of his movies on my channel. Uh, so uh, he directed Black Adam, which let's say reviewed that like a few years ago actually. He also directed the first Orphan. I don't think he did the second one. I think he just directed the first Orphan. But I reviewed both Orphan movies on my channel. Um, but I think he only did the first one. And he also directed Carry On. Now I wasn't the biggest fan of Black Adam. That was probably like my weakest out of like Black Adam. I just didn't care for that movie. Um, Now I give him credit for stepping out of his comfort zone and doing other stuff though besides just one type of movie. But yeah, but Carry On was like one of my favorite movies of that year. Uh so where do I fall out with The Woman in the Yard? So this is him doing horror. So again, it stars Daniel Deadweiler. She plays Ramona. Uh, Ramona, she's single black mom, raising black family, and with her husband. Her husband, built this house basically out in the middle of nowhere. This house he built himself from the ground up. She said he built it from the ground up, and now he live out in the countryside where there's literally nothing. It's house and fields for like miles. So, um, and she's got a son and a daughter. Daughter's really young, and that is something you notice when you're watching the movie. Something's wrong. Like everyone's stricken by some form of grief. Basically, they're going through grief, and not only is it bad enough they're going through grief, but now this woman in black shows up in their yard, and they're like, man, it's bad enough. We're sad. The power's gone out. We gotta contact the electric company. Oh, but they can't contact the electric company because their phones aren't charged. They didn't have electricity to charge their phones. So there, so this mysterious woman is sitting out in their yard, and they have to basically sit there and wait her out, until the power comes back on. So, uh, again, this is now. I said this is a Blumhouse film, okay? So, what I mean, if you ever watched a Blumhouse movie, um, you know, Blumhouse doesn't use a budget. Like their budget literally is one of their coworkers probably dropped like $10 out of his wallet, and that was the budget for the entire movie. They're like, wait, you got a budget? You got $10 you just dropped on the floor. That's gonna be our movie budget. Because literally, this entire movie It takes place in one location. Yeah, that house, um, that's it. They have some flashback scenes where the husband uh Ramona, the the husband or wife, they're at a dinner table talking. And you know what? I wouldn't even be shocked if that scene was shot in a house. They just dressed it up look like a restaurant and put a bunch of people in it. I wouldn't even be shocked. This is Blumhouse we're talking about. So they know how to shoot things that's very low budget. Uh, I thought the actors in here were good. Um, that little boy who played Taylor, Peyton Jackson, the little boy who played Taylor, she called him Tay for short. He was getting on my nerves. That was such a badass kid, man. The way he was talking to his mom and stuff, and I get it. There's a whole overlying thing of grief because that's what this movie basically is about. It's about a whole family dealing with grief. Uh, you know, and especially uh Ramona, played by Daniel Detweiler, you know, she feels really guilty about something that happened in the past, and that guilt is eating her up. Um, that guilt so bad, uh, they ain't go out and she ain't, get the dog any dog food. They're out of cereal. They're just running out of things to eat, and she's just sitting up there, just sitting in bed, just grieving. And then like I said, and then the woman in the yard shows up. So I will say one thing about this movie. Um, it I do the premise is interesting. I do When I saw the trailer, I was interested in watching this, and then I saw the Blumhouse tag on. I was like, oh, it's Blumhouse. Good old Jason Blumhouse. And the thing about this movie is I thought the premise was extremely interesting. However, once this played out, it was a really disappointing payoff. I'll say that. Where this movie starts out is interesting. Where this movie ends up was a huge letdown. It was a huge disappointment. Uh, and I thought it could have went in one direction, a completely different direction than the direction it went in. I wouldn't even mind this movie being dark, honestly, like especially if it turned out to be really dark, because I wouldn't even mind the fact that it played on Ramona's psyche a little bit more. Uh, and I probably won't ruin any. Like I said, as usual, I'm not gonna ruin anything, but um, without spoiling anything, just the mom. I just wish her. I wish her. I wish, like I said, I just wished it pushed her psyche way more than what it did in the movie. And it doesn't. I just felt like the direction it went to. I was like, is that really it? And then that's just kind of it. You know what I mean? Like it doesn't really. It's not really anything amazing. Uh, I said, the cast is good. Um, Russell Hornsby. I liked him in Black Mafia Family, and I really like him in this movie. He's just a really good, charming like dad character. Um, it'd be nice to see him play another role, for sure. But I mean, he's been playing a lot of dad characters, but I mean, he's really good at doing it. Um, but I think even the little girl who plays the daughter in here, I thought she was really good too. Uh, like I said, there's some good moments in here, but I think that's all this movie kind of has is maybe some good moments. Uh, some people will watch this and they'll think the pacing is maybe a little slow. Um, I didn't think it was that slow. I mean, the movie's short. It's not a long movie. It's like an 80-minute film. It's literally 80 minutes. It's very short. I'm looking at the time. Sorry, 85 minutes. So it's not even a full feature film. It's 5 minutes shy of being like a full feature length film. Um, so it's quick. It's not a fast movie, or it's a very fast movie. It gets in, gets out. But I just think the reveal and everything, it doesn't work. At least in my opinion, I just thought it was a little disappointing. It was a big letdown. If you decide you're going to watch this movie anyway, you'll probably see what I'm talking about maybe midway through the movie. You'll get an idea. Uh, it's really unfortunate because, like I said, I saw the trailer to this and I was a little interested, and then Blumhouse kind of showed up on the logo, and I'm like, I don't know about this movie. And yeah, I wasn't too crazy about it. I think the story gets a little lost after a while, and I don't think Jean Colette Serra. I don't think he knew how he was going to tie this in to the ending that he picked. So I don't know. I'll say one thing about this movie. It is a very forgettable film. Like, I think maybe a month or so from now, I'm probably gonna forget I watched this until I go back through my videos, and I'll be, oh yeah, I did see that movie. Um, yeah, that's probably the best word for this movie is forgettable. Very forgettable film. Um, I'm gonna go with a low recommend on it. Like I said, if the one thing that was keeping me interested really was the performances, and maybe at the beginning the suspense, especially when the woman the woman in the yard actually shows up. But I mean, it goes really no. I mean, it kind of goes to some interesting places. There are some sort of kind of crazy visuals, but I mean, it's just once you get past everything, it's like, okay, this all this movie has to offer, just some creepy visuals. And they're really not that creepy. I don't think they are. There was one part that shocked me. I was like, oh my goodness, but I mean, that's about it really. Um, yeah, so this is a low recommend for me. I'm not gonna say it's the worst thing I've seen this year, but it's definitely the most uninteresting movie, especially once it gets to the midpoint to the ending and it reveals everything. You're like, oh, that's kind of a weak reveal. Um, yep. So yeah, Woman in the Yard, the Woman in the Yard, low recommend. If you like this movie though, tell me what you thought about it in the comments section. And again, as usual, I will see you in the next review.